In the tense climate of Cold War America, the U.S. Air Force launched Project Blue Book, an initiative aimed at investigating reports of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. Over 17 years, this project examined thousands of UFO sightings, seeking to determine whether these phenomena posed a threat to national security. While many cases were explained as natural or man-made occurrences, others defied easy explanation, leaving a trail of mystery. The story of Project Blue Book and its unanswered questions continue to spark curiosity and debate. It was the era of the unknown, a time when the skies seemed to hold secrets beyond human comprehension. The late 1940s and early 1950s witnessed an unprecedented surge in reports of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, across the United States. From rural towns to bustling cities, whispers of strange lights and unexplained phenomena sparked a collective curiosity tinged with fear. The first truly monumental event occurred in the summer of 1947, when the skies above Roswell, New Mexico erupted in a blaze of controversy. What began as reports of a crashed flying saucer soon morphed into a saga of government denials and whispered conspiracies. The Roswell incident, as it would come to be known, served as a catalyst for a wave of UFO sightings that swept across the United States like wildfire. Amidst the growing hysteria, the United States Air Force found itself thrust into the spotlight, tasked with investigating the flood of reports pouring in from every corner of the country. The first organization to investigate the incident was called Project Sign. Its goal was to craft an official estimate of the situation regarding Roswell. General Nathan Twining got Project Sign off the ground. The estimate officially said that Roswell and the other sightings were inconclusive. Project Sign's investigation officially ended without a definitive conclusion about the sightings. Yet U.S. Air Force Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, the first head of what would become Project Blue Book, disclosed that an initial intelligence report from Project Sign in late summer 1948 suggested that the flying saucers were genuine craft, neither Soviet nor American, and probably extraterrestrial. General Hoyt Vandenberg, the USAF Chief of Staff, dismissed this assessment due to insufficient physical evidence and subsequently shut down Project Sign. At the end of 1948, Project Sign was succeeded by Project Grudge, which faced criticism for its perceived mandate to debunk UFO sightings. Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, the first director, referred to the era of Project Grudge as the dark ages of early USAF UFO investigations. While Grudge concluded that all UFOs were natural phenomena or misinterpretations, it notably acknowledged that 23% of the reports remained unexplained. After Project Sign and Grudge, the preparations for Project Blue Book came to fruition. The theater of inquiry unfolded across the vast expanse of the American landscape, from the desolate deserts of New Mexico to the fog-shrouded forests of the Pacific Northwest. Reports of UFO sightings poured in with alarming frequency. Each case presented its own unique puzzle, its own set of tantalizing clues that were begging to be unraveled. Witnesses spoke of shimmering lights dancing across the night sky, of metallic discs soaring silently overhead, and of craft that could defy the laws of physics and human understanding. Air Force Captain Edward J. Ruppelt took the helm of Project Blue Book. The initiative was shrouded in mystery and intrigue from its inception in 1952 until its demise in 1969. It would become the stuff of both legend and controversy. The project's mandate was clear: to investigate, analyze, and ultimately demystify the UFO phenomenon. Ruppelt was an experienced Air Force officer with a keen intellect and unyielding determination. Leading a team of 10 dedicated experts, he and his successors investigated 12,618 reports and eyewitness testimonies during the 17 years Project Blue Book was in operation. They searched for patterns, anomalies, and perhaps a glimpse of the truth behind the skepticism and secrecy. However, Ruppelt wasn't the only notable figure associated with Project Blue Book. One name stands out in the field of UFO investigation: Joseph Allen Hynek. His transformation from skeptic to committed investigator is a key part of Project Blue Book's history. Initially a scientific consultant, Hynek began by dismissing many sightings as misidentifications or hoaxes. But as he delved deeper, his perspective shifted and he became a seeker of truth. Hynek's most significant contribution was the development of the Hynek scale, a system for categorizing UFO encounters based on observed characteristics. This scale ranged from lights in the sky to close encounters of the first kind, sightings of unidentified objects, to encounters of the third kind, interactions with extraterrestrial beings. Hynek's scale provided a structured approach to understanding UFO phenomena. After Hynek's death in 1986, his colleague Jacques Vallée expanded the scale to include close encounters of the fourth kind, alien abductions, and the fifth kind, physical changes resulting from alien contact, such as healing or injury. Despite the Air Force's tendency to dismiss things, Hynek advocated for a rigorous scientific approach, calling for more comprehensive data collection and the exploration of alternative hypotheses. His stance earned both admiration and criticism, putting him in the public spotlight. Hynek's dedication continued Ruppelt's original legacy with Project Blue Book, which operated from 1952 until 1969. Ruppelt's commitment to scientific investigation set the project's tone. Unlike his predecessors, he approached each case with meticulous attention to detail, employing rigorous methodologies and a skilled team to scrutinize the evidence. Under Ruppelt's guidance, Project Blue Book evolved from a bureaucratic endeavor into a beacon of scientific inquiry. Unfortunately, the Air Force cut his staff from 10 to 2 in 1953, leading Ruppelt to request reassignment. Tragically, he died of a heart attack in 1960 at the age of just 37. After Ruppelt left the project in 1956, cracks began to appear in the facade of official skepticism. Despite the Air Force's insistence on rational explanations for each sighting, some cases defied easy categorization. Witnesses with impeccable credentials, military personnel, commercial pilots, and respected community members stood by their accounts, adding credibility to the growing uncertainty. The files of Project Blue Book contain dozens of cases that seem to defy logical explanation. One such case is the infamous Gorman Dogfight. Lieutenant George F. Gorman, a seasoned pilot with the North Dakota Air National Guard, engaged in a weaponless dogfight with a UFO that defied rational explanation. Gorman saw a strange light hovering in the distance, an object unlike he had ever seen. What followed was a breathtaking series of aerial maneuvers as Gorman attempted to intercept the mysterious craft. Multiple witnesses, including air traffic controllers and the pilot and passenger of a Piper Cub, also saw the UFO. Another compelling incident, known as Incident 337, occurred in Tucson, Arizona in May 1949. A professional flight engineer and former military pilot was relaxing outside his home when he saw two round objects pass directly overhead. Initially, he thought they might be balloons, but their coordinated turn and banking maneuver revealed their flat shape. He estimated them to be about 25 feet in diameter and traveling at speeds between 750 and 1,000 miles per hour, far exceeding the capabilities of contemporary aircraft. The objects made another course correction and disappeared over the nearby mountains, leaving the witness and investigators with an unsolved mystery. Then there's Incident 325, which took place in May 1949 in St. Louis. A husband and wife sitting outside their home observed a strange craft flying overhead. Unlike the typical saucer shape, this object was more triangular and described as a ruddy brown or red color, resembling a stingray without a tail. The craft flew rapidly and oscillated from side to side. Despite thorough investigations, no records of commercial or military aircraft in the area matched the couple's description. Investigators concluded it was probably an aircraft, though they couldn't definitively prove it. These reports, among many others, illustrate the widespread fascination and mystery surrounding UFOs during this era. The sightings were diverse and often defied easy explanations, contributing to the enduring intrigue and speculation that continues to surround UFO phenomena. The Lubbock Lights incident is one of the most famous UFO sightings in history, occurring on August 30th, 1951 in Texas. 3 professors were relaxing in a backyard when they saw a formation of 20 to 30 lights fly overhead. Describing the experience, one professor said the objects appeared to be about the size of a dinner plate and had a greenish-blue, slightly fluorescent color. He added, they were smaller than the full moon at the horizon. There were about a dozen to 15 of these lights. They were absolutely circular. It gave all of us an extremely eerie feeling. The USAF investigated and suggested that the lights were likely caused by plovers, birds with white breasts capable of reflecting city lights, creating an illusion of glowing objects. In another case from 1951, a photograph titled Winter 1951 seemed to capture a flying saucer. However, scientists later identified the object as a lenticular cloud. These clouds, often formed by moist air rising and condensing at high altitudes, can appear saucer-like due to the specific atmospheric conditions. As public interest in UFOs reached a fever pitch, authorities found themselves walking a tightrope between disclosure and disinformation. For every sighting deemed worthy of investigation, countless others were dismissed as hoaxes, hallucinations, or good-faith misidentifications. Yet behind closed doors, whispers of a deeper truth persisted. Declassified documents revealed a shadowy world of covert operations and clandestine research programs, where the boundaries between fact and fiction blurred, intensifying the quest for answers. While the vast majority of the 12,618 investigations were labeled as hoaxes or explainable phenomena, 701 cases were classified as true unknowns, unexplainable by science or existing technology at the time. This averages to more than 41 unexplained events each year during Project Blue Book's existence. To put it another way, over 17 years, there was one unexplainable UFO sighting somewhere in the United States every 9 days. This doesn't even count sightings around the world, many of which were also unexplainable or had actual evidence rather than mere conjecture. In 1969, as Project Blue Book came to an end, the Air Force declared the case closed, citing a lack of evidence for extraterrestrial visitors. However, the legacy of inquiry lives on for both believers and skeptics. Decades after its end, Project Blue Book continues to captivate truth seekers and conspiracy theorists alike. Its legacy remains a cornerstone of ufology, a testament to the enduring allure of the unknown and the human quest for understanding in the face of uncertainty. The closing of Project Blue Book in 1969 marked the end of an era of official UFO investigations. But recent developments, including the groundbreaking 2023 congressional hearings, have reignited public and governmental interest in the elusive phenomena. In a historic moment that captured the world's attention, on July 26, 2023, 3 witnesses stood before Congress to share their experiences with unidentified flying objects. This marked a significant milestone in the ongoing saga of UFO disclosure, building on the legacy of Project Blue Book and the countless investigations that have followed. The witnesses included a former Navy pilot, a retired Navy commander, and an ex-intelligence community official, each offering compelling testimonies about mysterious objects encountered in the air. Their accounts highlighted frequent sightings by pilots and suggested the existence of a covert government program involving recovered alien spacecraft. Former Navy pilot and retired Commander David Fravor recounted his encounter with a tic-tac-shaped object that hovered over the ocean, only to accelerate and vanish abruptly when he maneuvered his jet closer.
To the west, the air controller was counting down the range to an object that we were going to, and we were unaware of what we were going to see when we arrived. The controller had told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space. We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet, and the controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now in the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All four of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball. There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any sign of visible control surfaces like wings. As we started clockwise towards the object, my Wizzo and I decided to go down and take a closer look with the other aircraft staying in high cover to observe both us and the tic-tac. We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object suddenly shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb.
However, the most riveting testimony came from former military intelligence officer David Grusch. Recently gone public with his account, Grusch claimed that the U.S. government has spent decades secretly recovering crashed, mysterious vehicles of non-human origin. He detailed efforts to reverse engineer this unearthly technology and described one particular incident where a covert team recovered non-human biologics. Listen here as Grusch describes a covert team recovering non-human biologics after one particular incident, a statement that left the room in stunned silence.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Continuing his testimony, Grusch recounted his personal encounters as disturbing, suggesting a vast hidden network within the government aware of these non-human origin crafts since the 1930s. He admitted knowing individuals with direct knowledge, but couldn't publicly disclose their names due to the classified nature of the information. The congressional hearing held by the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee sparked further interest among lawmakers. Some expressed a desire for more closed-door meetings with Grusch and other officials in secured facilities to learn more. Grusch agreed to provide a list of individuals for future hearings, hinting at a complex network of knowledge within the government. The testimonies, though groundbreaking, were met with mixed reactions. Skeptics pointed to the lack of concrete evidence, while others noted the limitations imposed by classified information. Disclosing such information could lead to severe penalties, including imprisonment, thereby constraining what the witnesses could divulge. Despite the uncertainties, this hearing marks a significant point in the pursuit of knowledge about the unknown. It was the second congressional hearing on UFOs held in as many years, after more than a half a century without one. The witnesses' willingness to put their credibility on the line in such a public forum is a testament to their convictions. The 2023 congressional hearings have reignited public interest in extraterrestrial life. Yet without declassification of key documents, the public remains in the dark, left to speculate about life beyond our planet. Future developments will determine if these hearings are groundbreaking or just another chapter in UFO conspiracy theories. As we embrace 21st century technology, the core truth surrounding UFOs remains elusive. Perhaps it's not the answers that define us, but the questions that we continue to ask. Captain Edward J. Ruppelt believed the true legacy of Project Blue Book lies in its pursuit of truth, wherever it may lead.